Hello there. Dr. Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 8 books, host of 2 PBS specials. Here again to bring you another tip on how to help you create the life you want. Specifically, how to use my life from the top of the mind philosophy to bring more clarity, confidence, creativity into everything you do. Today I want to bring more clarity into the concept of panic attacks. These things are very common. When people feel them, they feel like they're dying, and it's a real problem. Now, what I don't want to do is just going to say, yes, well, it's all in your head. You're just imagining this. If you'll just kind of take a few deep breaths, everything will be fine. When people have panic attacks, they feel like they are dying. It feels so threatening. And for people to just tell them it's all in their head and they should dismiss it or they should stop thinking that way feels disrespectful. So I want to be very clear, I'm not saying that. I know how traumatic it can be. What I want to do is show you the brain science behind panic attacks or phobias or PTSD, that kind of stuff, and give you some information about what you can do if you want to have more influence over this process and more control in this area. So here's what's going on. Remember, for those of you who follow my life from the top of the mind philosophy, you know we got these 3 parts to the brain. Lower part of the brain is called the brainstem. This is where our fight or flight responses are located. Middle part of the brain is called the limbic system. That's the scanner, processor, router part of the brain, the gatekeeper part of the brain. Upper 80% of the brain, what I call the top of the mind. This is where we have access to our interpersonal skills, problem-solving skills, clarity, confidence, creativity, compassion, etc. So this middle brain, the limbic system, the scanner, processor, router, gatekeeper part of the brain is kind of always scanning the environment, looking for things we should be worried about. Its mission on the planet is to keep us safe by keeping us worried or anxious, which a long time ago when we were dealing with things that were truly worrisome, being eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, being thrown out of the village, then that really helped us stay alive. The problem is this old brain is kind of lagging behind our experience of evolution, and what's happening is it's interpreting situations, people, thoughts, in a way that is throwing us into this lower brain, triggering adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol. So a panic attack is this middle brain interpreting some situation as just a thought or a memory as dangerous and throwing us into the part of the brain that's designed to deal with danger, triggering adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol in huge amounts. So the heart racing and the panicky and the feeling like we're dying is that adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol being triggered in ways that are just so overwhelming it just feels very scary. Now that's bad enough, but what happens when we find ourselves feeling this is we go, oh crap, I'm dying, which has the middle brain go, oh crap, we're dying, another thing to be worried about, throws us back down to the brainstem, triggers another round of adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol, and that's why panic attacks can last for a while, is because it's not just the initial panic that's problematic, it's our being panicked about the panic. Again, totally understandable, totally normal, totally natural. It isn't something that is your failure to cope or something that's weird. It's just not working for you. It's actually creating this experience of trauma and panic when it's not serving you. There's nothing to be panicked about, so you can't use it to stay safe. You just find yourself stuck in the brainstem. So what I like to do is show people how to shift from this panicky brain to this more clear, confident, creative brain and actually change the chemical makeup of your body from adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol to serotonin, endorphins, dopamine, the chemicals that help us feel better and think clear. I have a model in my book, Life from the Top of the Mind. The first part of the book is all about how to shift from the lower brain to the upper brain, from the panicky brain to the clear, confident, creative brain. It actually spells brain, which means it starts with 2 components that are normally controlled by the lower brain. See, the idea is to have this upper brain where the serotonin and the endorphins reside, literally regain control by taking over functions normally controlled by the lower brain. So the lower brain normally controls breathing. That's why anytime you Google breathing and anxiety or panicky, you're going to find tons of science about how all that works and why it works. Then also the lower brain controls muscle tension. So our breaths get really short or shallow or just stop altogether, and our muscles get really tense, and all that's controlled by the lower brain. So the first 2 steps in my model, breathe and relax. What that means is we want to be counting while we're doing it because there's only one part of the brain that can count. That's this upper 80% of the brain. So if we're willing to inhale for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4 and say the word relax in a relaxing way, at the end of that exhale, we will begin to have this upper 80% of the brain regain control from the lower 20%. And that's what we want. The Navy SEALs use this 4-4-4 method. Inhale for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, release it for a count of 4, and say the word relax on the exhale. It looks like this. Relax. Now we may need to do that more than once, because again, remember what's going on. We're actually having a chemical change in our body that's triggering the adrenaline. But no longer are we being panicked by the panic. We are actually having this upper 80% of the brain regain control by using this. Then what we want to do is move just beyond breathing and relaxing and actually move to more of a solution focus than just stopping the problem. So once we've breathed and relaxed, and we want to ask what I call a Neocortex top of the mind question. It's a question about the solution versus the problem. How about, how would I rather be feeling? Okay, calm, confident, in control, whatever. Now the question is, okay, have I ever felt calm or confident, in control in my entire life? Well, of course I have. Well, what does that look like? So you imagine a time in your past when you were feeling really calm, really confident, really in control, maybe doing something you loved, playing a game, doing a sport, playing music, whatever it is that you love to do. Just imagine doing that, because any image we hold in our mind triggers a corresponding chemical change in our body. When I do this in my seminars, I take people through an experience of biting into a lemon. You know, you see the lemon, you slice the lemon in half, there's lemon juice running down your hand. You see the shiny yellow pulp of the inside of the lemon. And I say, okay, everybody take a big bite of your lemon. And almost everybody's doing this. And the reason is because we've just changed the chemical makeup of our body. The saliva, the muscles, that is a chemical change in our body. We've just changed the chemical makeup of our body based not on what we held in our hand, but what we held in our mind and our imagination. It tells us that our mind and imagination will change the chemical makeup of our body even when we know what's happening isn't really happening, or what we're feeling isn't really happening. We know we're not biting into a lemon, but our body reacts as if we are. So when we're feeling panicky, we just assume, okay, there's something to feel panicky about, and the body reacts to that. Understandable. It's just not serving us. So we breathe and relax until we feel in control. May take 2 times, may take 5 times. You do it until you feel centered, in control. Ask that Neocortex top of the mind question, how would I rather be feeling? Imagine a time feeling that way, and then I'm going to encourage you to notice the change. Because at the end of the model that spells brain, breathe, relax, ask, imagine, notice, B-R-A-I-N, you will be feeling more calm, more confident, more in control. If you want to feel more of that, you just repeat the model. So what this does is it actually has us taking charge of what part of the brain is in control and being able to activate this clear, confident, creative part of who we are versus the panicky part of who we are. Give that a try. Let me know how it works. You know, I love kind of posting these videos, and I love hearing from you about how this works. If you have questions about how to fine-tune this, feel free to either go to my website, Ph.D.com, and hit the contact button. Let me know what your question is. I'll be happy to answer that. If you would like me to come to your organization and your church or your school and help folks there kind of deal with anxiety and stress by accessing this upper 80% of the brain, give them as many tools as possible. Again, go to the website, let me know what you're interested in. Love to talk with you about that. In the meantime, here's to you, bringing more clarity about what's really going on when we find ourselves feeling panicky. More clarity, confidence, creativity into everything you do. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.